Yeah, no, it's pretty good. That is good. Yeah. So you're riding fit. Right, okay. Yeah, no, so she's never been aware of being on level or anything like that. That's good. Yeah. Which, you know, I mean, you're not likely to be. If you've been riding this, you know, if you've got to this stage and you're, you know, you're riding straight now, then that's really good. Yeah. Cool. Yeah, yeah. So, little thing. You've got your stirrups. This is a very common thing you've got happening here. You see how, that's an exaggeration of it, but you see how you've got that happening? So, does that feel completely different? Yeah. That is actually where your stirrups should be. Yeah? Did you see? Yeah, as long as it's under the ball of your foot but not your toes, what you're doing is this, okay, where it should actually be, also, it's a little, let's relax your knee a bit, or is it that what's stopping it? Yeah, just relax that a bit. You look like you're pressing down a little bit too hard, okay. Now that will feel quite weird, but that is where the stirrup should be. Because where you had it is more like how jumpers ride. Do you have a background of jumping? Yeah, yeah. That's how jumpers, you know, that's where it comes from. That's how they ride. Because you ride with your stirrups in that way, just to, yeah, you have a completely different foot position for jumping. And it will feel quite strange, but that is where it should be, actually under the ball of your foot. And when it's not under the ball of your foot properly, when you, because you trail ride a bit as well, don't you? Okay, I thought you went out with Jenny. No. Okay. Okay. So the further you ride, or the longer you're on the horse, what actually happens is when the stirrup's not in the right place, your foot, so just say that's the ball of your foot, your stirrup's there, you see how the ball of your foot's, it's actually wearing you out, because your foot is having to brace more, because otherwise this happens, you get that dislocation happen there. Your stirrup should be right under there, to fully support your foot. So it's a very different feeling, but because you've been riding for a long time with actually that angle happening, this has actually been happening in your foot. And what happens then is your feet, various bits of you have to do slightly different things just to compensate for the fact that your foot is not actually getting the proper support. So like I said, it will feel quite weird, but that's where it should be. But it will feel like, oh, got pressure right underneath the part that where it shouldn't be. Did you work out what your joints were, whether you were flippy, floppy or stiffy? Well, like I say, you've got to think about what you were when you were a child, what you started out at. So that's what's important, not what you are now. No. Yeah, well that's really good then. That's probably why you're still quite straight now and everything. Yeah, it's actually the best one to be. Yeah, that's good. Good, okay. So, yeah, so again, keep that knee soft, ankle reasonably soft, and you just have the feeling of just your feet just resting in your stirrups, never pressing. They should never actually be pressing down. If your feet go numb, or you get pain in the outside of your ankles, chances are you're pressing down, or even rolling your ankles to the outside. Yeah, so did that one resonate with you as well? Yeah. Yeah, I know, it's ridiculous, isn't it? And I mean, when you think, that's like telling someone to walk because it looks nicer, walk like that. That's just telling. That's it, yeah. But what actually happens instead, when you actually get your leg position correct, when your leg is underneath you properly, what happens is the leg ends up around this part of the horse. So I'll start by saying that when it's wrong, just say you had your feet too far forward, what happens is that the leg goes into that narrow part of the horse's body, the toes turn out. Can you see that? When you get your leg in the correct position, which yours is, your toes come forward anyway. And the other thing is, whereas we think we're meant to ride with our toes ridiculously, slightly turned in or straight, it's impossible to do that. That means you're sat on a horse like this, and you're doing this.
Exactly.
So what happens then is, you have to force your knee like that, you're putting a twist on your knee. I mean, the fat was sat on the horse anyway, using the natural position for the legs. So then if we then do that, we're making all these joints go outwards. And so if you only ride half an hour a day, that's not too bad, but if you ride hours a day, you have these joints. Yeah. That's right, completely different. Yeah, that's right. That's it. So, it's actually perfectly okay to ride with your toes very slightly turned out, because again, think about it, some people, my feet naturally do that, so some people's feet naturally do that. So how, if your feet naturally do that, and then you make them do this on a horse, you know, that's going to be so bad for your joints as well. So for some people, yeah. Yeah. That's right, it's all about looks, not about function. Every one of us is built, yeah, every one of us is built completely differently, and yet if you go by the book, it assumes that we all have exactly the same body, which is crazy, isn't it? Absolutely crazy.
And our bodies change as we age.
Well, that's right, yeah, that's right. But trying to make your body do something like, you know, turn your toes in is just ridiculous. So it's fine for your toes to be at 5 to 1. For some people who actually have really, really bad acne, it's alright for them to be at 10 to 2. But, you know, for you, straightforward or 5 to 1 is absolutely fine. So quit completely trying to turn your toes in, because as I say, when your leg is back and underneath you, most people, you hardly ever meet anybody whose toes are turned out too far anyway. Okay? Because that bringing the leg back brings the leg in line, whereas putting it in that gap where the girth is makes the leg do that. So when the leg's underneath you properly, you don't even have to think about the toes. Okay? Yep. Okay, let's have a look at that sitting trot again then. So just go back into standing for a minute, just to get that feeling again of the left, right, left, right. Make sure that your knee's always nice and soft. It's very easy to think about bracing the knee. So when you're trying to get this, the slower the horse, initially, the slower the horse is moving, the easier it is. So let's just see how slow we can get him just while we're playing around with this. And then, once he's got it, we can then work on extending the trot later on. But for now, while you get the hang of it, especially because he is, like you said, he's got a lot of movement, it's much easier if he's going nice and slow. And also the other thing,
This is slow for him.
This is slow, right?
You want to see him trot out?
Yeah, no, right. We'll look at that later. So, oh sorry, the thing I was just about to say then. Oh, that's right. So in the sitting trot, there can be no leaning forward. So the thing is, you do have to go from that standing where you're leaning forward slightly, to in the sitting trot, your shoulders need to be above your hips, not in front of your hips. If you lean forward in the sitting trot, you will bounce, whereas in rising trot and standing trot, there can be a slight leaning forward. Now, when the sitting trot is working well, you'll feel these muscles in here working, in your solar plexus. So if they start to ache a bit, that's a really nice ache. It means that you're getting it right, because suddenly those core muscles are having to work quite hard.
I can't get it from the start.
Sorry?
Hang on. Go ahead, you.
So make sure that before you kneel down, you can feel the left, right through your heel. And then when you kneel down, when you actually come down onto him, then you're still feeling for that left, right. I'd go so far as to say as well, don't even think too much about what your seat's doing. Think about what your feet are doing, because they are the key to sitting properly in the sitting trot. As soon as we start to think about the seat, we can start to bounce. Because then what happens is we take the emphasis away from what our lower legs are doing, and we take it into the seat, and the lower legs immediately then start to creep up, and we start to bounce. And then we think, oh heck, I'm starting to bounce, I need to sit deeper. The only thing that will make you sit deeper is when your anchors, which are your lower legs, pull you down into the saddle. So it's not about pushing your seat into the saddle, it's about your lower legs pulling you all the way down into your saddle so that you stop bouncing. That's another way of thinking of it. Just talk to me for a minute. While you have get your breath back and then come and talk to me. Because it's talking about it is how we sort it out. Tell me what you were feeling.
So when I first trot off, I can't feel that. So standing up, I can feel it.
Yeah.
And then once I've got it, I can sit and do it. I can actually get it with it.
So you can feel it in the...
young and fit anymore.
You can feel it in the standing.
Yes, and then I can sit and get it.
And then you can sit and get it.
Yes.
That's perfect. That's brilliant then.
And he actually did come back a lot better then.
Yes.
And just
Yeah.
bopped
Yeah.
underneath.
Have a good
Once he
breathe.
did that,
Yeah.
I could totally relax my whole legs, my whole body,
Yeah.
and just go with it.
Suddenly you're moving with him. And he will really feel that. So suddenly, heck, what, for him he'll be thinking, Eureka, she got it. That's what he's thinking. So,
So when he trots, that last lot that I was doing in the sitting trot, would you have considered that to have impulsion and to be an acceptable trot for sitting trot?
yeah, yeah.
Cool. I
Yeah,
accepted that one.
but the thing is, now you have this tool in your toolbox, you will rapidly now be able to get this in a big trot and everything. But don't move on ahead too quick. I know what dressage drivers are like, because what's happening is you want to get there now and quite competitive and so on. Just take it step by step, because you now have the tools, which if you use it correctly, you'll be able to sit trot on anything and at any speed eventually. But just work through it. But for now, be happy with, even if you just get 2 or 3 strides where you think, I've got it, that's fantastic, okay?
Oh, I've got a good half circle.
Oh, well, that's even
and I could
better.
actually feel myself. I could
Yeah.
even do that. And I went, oh, wow.
Yeah.
Really
And
swing on it.
at this stage, even if you feel as if you're moving a bit too much, which we don't actually look as if you are, but if it feels as if you are, don't think, oh, I've got to keep yourself still. Go with it, because then when you've really got that movement happening, then, and I'll show you this next actually, we'll actually work on this bit next, after we'll do a little bit more of what we've been doing, but we should never think about trying to get the upper body as tall as possible until we've got everything from here down working perfectly. Because what happens is, this has to be working properly in order for this to have any chance of being still. Okay? If we do it the other way around, which is how we usually do it, we think about trying to sit still here, trying to keep our bum in the saddle, without knowing all this that's supposed to be happening down here, and that's why we bounce. So, we'll, like I say, when we get onto this next stage, when you start stretching up through your upper body, if you feel yourself starting to bounce, what you've got to do is completely forget about this. This is the icing on the cake, okay? Forget about this, go back to getting this working properly, get that working properly again, and then think about sitting tall, okay? Has to be in that order, can't stress it enough, because otherwise you will bounce, okay? And likewise, when you, even without this top bit, without thinking about the top bit, as soon as you feel yourself start to bounce, as soon as you lose that engagement with him, think about either actually standing up, or very quickly, and you're probably already at that stage now, you just prepare to stand up. That preparation to stand up, what that does is redistribute the weight back down to your feet properly. Okay? And that's all you need to get it. The reason you've been bouncing in sitting trot is the same reason that millions of other people bounce in the sitting trot, is because you haven't realised how important it is that some of that weight goes all the way down into your feet. You've been thinking it's something you're meant to do with your bum, when it's actually something that's supposed to go all the way down to your feet.
Yeah.
Okay?
That's good.
Yeah. So all you have to do is prepare to stand up again, because you're at that stage where that will be enough, because that will redistribute the weight properly. And if you're really having trouble with it, actually stand up. You know, sometimes you might need to do that, but over time you won't need to do that at all. You'll just need to think, I'm going to stand up, and immediately the weight will distribute back where it's meant to be. Okay? So let's have another go at that on the other end. But don't be hard on... Don't be hard on yourself if it's not perfect straight away. And again, working on a nice slow trot for now. Good.
Wow.
Mm. I mean, I've not seen you in sitting trot normally, but that looks like a really nice sitting trot. So
I
normally,
can sit here all day and do this.
that's a fabulous feeling, isn't it? When you get it,
He
it's
looks
a
like he's
wonderful
kind of
feeling.
really feeling that
And
as
when
well.
you think that people avoid sitting trot, when you get it right, it's a wonderful feeling. Fabulous feeling. You literally, that's what it should feel like, is that you could sit there all day. And it's like I say, if you can get it on a horse like him, you can get it on virtually anything.
He changed stride too.
Sorry?
He changed stride.
That's right. Yep. Yep.
Aha! And you're downwards, all I did was stop doing that and you just went boom.
What's that?
Okay. I'm not that fit. Just then for the downwards, what I usually do is just move my legs forward and usually I just move my body forward. I stop that and he comes down. So with that one I just stop
Yep,
that.
stop moving. That's all you need to do. So suddenly he'll think, oh, she's not moving with me anymore.
Boom.
Stopped. Yeah.
Instant downwards.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. He'll
No reins.
Yeah.
I was going to pop him up into a can to have a break on me.
So when you've had a breather, the next thing we'll do now, even though you are looking really nice anyway, we'll just think about stretching up through the upper body, as I say, but notice, really think about what that happens then from the hips down. Just notice what happens. We'll have a breather. Let him have a breather.
That's a breather. Got plenty of time to sleep this afternoon.
It's interesting seeing the change in him though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I can pick it up now straight up.
She makes it look easy.
She does, very easy.
But he's slow.
Sorry, I didn't hear that.
He really
Johnny?
kind of just.
Yeah, I saw it too.
wow, I can do this.
It was like
I
that,
can
wasn't
pick
it?
that straight up then,
Yeah? Oh, brilliant, without having to go through
without
it.
having to go through.
Yeah.
So that's just going to be a bit of practice.
Yeah, brilliant. Yeah, this sitting trot problem with dressage riders would have to be the number one issue for dressage riders, I would say, and it's the one that stops people from moving up to higher levels, because they get to the stage with the where there are a lot of sitting trots required, and if they don't have it, it's very hard to move on then to the next level. That's looking nice.
Yeah, because she said he wouldn't trot slow either.
Yep.
And he is slow.
So you're having a go at stretching up through your upper body?
I'm stretching as much as I can.
Good, that's lovely. It's looking nice. You're perfectly upright, so that's nice.
But yeah, he's just dropped it back
Yes.
dramatically.
The downwards is just boom, straight there.
Yeah, because you can feel it, because now you're moving with it. And this is the thing, you see, because when you think about it, we're taught to do things like sit down to stop and sit down and push him on. And we've got to be really clear what we do with these aids, because if we use them, that's right. If we're moving with them normally, they're going to notice when suddenly we're not moving anymore. Whereas when we're push, pulling, shoving all the time, it's all just background noise to them. It makes, it's like the radio being on. Whereas once you start to move with him, then he notices when suddenly you're not moving with him anymore. That kind of thing, So that's an improvement already.
Oh yeah, I'm really pleased with that.
That's good.
Really pleased.
Good.
And that's the slowest trot he's done for me for a while. So
Really. Yeah, and you'll be able to get that quite a bit slower now.
I started bringing that back.
Yeah,
Like he does 5 metre circles, and he will come back
yeah,
to really get himself, but he's not fit like that.
yeah.
And
But
that's when I
did you
started
see the
really-
exercise I was doing previously? Work on that, asking for the super slow steps and the big steps. And the
Oh, he's
super
got big steps. They're
Yeah,
not a problem.
that's right. So you need the slow steps.
Slow
Yeah,
steps.
Yeah.
So should he be slower than that freeze
Oh,
trot?
he could go slower than that. Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. He could go, because when you think about it, when you want Piaf, he's not going to go from that to Piaf, is he? He's going to go from slower, and eventually to Piaf.
On the spot.
Yeah. So there's a lot more slower in vignettes. Yeah.
Get back to the right spot. Another go.
Yeah.
This is cool. I just wish I was a bit fitter.
It's just me, or is there a cool breeze coming through?
That's nice, isn't it?
Brilliant.
Okay, thank you. Thanks.
So let's work on, let's see how slow you can get him. Just tiny rainage, flasking to slow. You might get a bit confused at first because he's used to going big. That's nice. Tiny rainage, but make sure you're still moving with him. Don't confuse him by using your seat to slow him. See, this is the problem with using your seat to slow them. It can get very confusing. He should really slow from a rainage. Your primary aids are your legs and your hands. It sounds very crude, but it's true. They are what make the horse go and make the horse slow. So a tiny rainage will slow him down.
He just lost it.
Yeah.
That was good.
But what, sorry?
That was good.
Yeah, that was a nice slow trot. What breed is it? What is it?
Sorry?
What is he?
Oh, what do you reckon he would be? We're not sure what he
Well,
is.
when he's coming towards me, he looks Spanish.
I think he's got a bit of that in him.
Just because of the way his front is. Yeah, well, just because of his front. You know, he actually moves slightly like a sort of yeah.
I've actually had someone think he was a Frisian with a bit of Andalusian in him.
I wouldn't say there was any Frisian in that. No. But I would say there's a bit of Andalusian in him. Yeah.
He's a standard breed.
Yeah? But I would say there's definitely a bit of Andalusian in him, but I wouldn't say there's any Frisian in him. Yeah.
See everyone, you can get to that stage with your standard breeds that no one knows what they are.
I wouldn't have guessed that.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a
What do you say? He's a standard bred? Oh, he is a standard
he's a
bred.
standard breed.
Well, that's amazing. Yeah, saying that, I've had lots of standard breds, so I know exactly. I have a joke where, you know how people, you Sami people will appreciate this. You know how people say, oh, isn't he lovely? He looks more like an Arab than a standard bred. I used to say this to you, didn't I, Jenny? And you say to them when they're on their thoroughbred, oh, look, he looks more like a standard bred than a thoroughbred. Isn't he gorgeous? So he's a standard bred. That's fabulous.
I don't, well, he now goes out into open pond.
Sorry?
He now goes out into open pond.
Yeah. So is he branded? Is he?
Yeah, you can only just see it as he's a grey horse.
Yeah.
Now that he's been sweating.
Heck yeah.
You can
Yeah.
just see the S there,
Yeah.
and there's one there,
Oh,
there's
yeah, I
one
can see
there.
it. Yeah, you definitely see it.
Yeah.
That's fabulous.
Other than that, you can't
You know,
see.
he has that movement in the front, more like an Iberian horse. But yeah, I mean, he must be a full standard.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
oh yeah, he raced.
Yeah,
Not very well, of course, that's why
Yeah.
I'm riding. Come on, we're doing that again, that was good.
that's great. Good job. He's really nice.
And when I first got him, he had a massive trot on him.
Yeah.
Flat out rising to about 13 pounds.
Yeah,
And every time you slowed his trot, he'd pace.
yeah,
So he didn't handle a slow trot at all.
yeah,
And that's always been my big thing, slow his trot, he usually goes good.
yeah. Where no, he was trotting really nicely there, really slowly. And that's what you want to be working with, slower and slower. And for his part, it takes a lot of muscular effort in here to trot slow. That's why they don't like doing it, because it's really hard work. So whereas you're having to use those core muscles to trot slow, so is he. So
My muscles don't have to work much at all.
no, but once he starts to bounce slowly like that, that takes a huge amount of muscular effort, you know, in his belly muscles. So you know, it's hard work for him. I'm not usually somebody to say, wow, is that a standard bred, but I'm quite amazed at him. That, yeah, he, I thought he was a big warm blood or an Andalusian cross. Again, thinking about that rhythm, just because you're in the sitting, you can still count the rhythm and get it as slow as possible. Yeah. He's starting to get some hesitation there, which is nice. You know, before he puts the foot down, starting to get that tiny bit of hesitation. And that will be, you know, quite hard for him. He'll only be able to do this, you know, bits at a time, but he is actually starting to really slow down. Yeah. Feeling nice?
No, that's good. I didn't have a break on that.
Yeah. That was looking really nice.
Oh. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I'm happy with that.
Good.
In fact, I'm ecstatic with it, not happy.
Good. Well, make sure you go on the website and read the articles and stuff.
Oh, she's worth keeping.
So how old
Even though we
is it?
didn't get to 17 too.
Oh, I'm really dirty on that.
How old is it?
10.
Is that all? That's good. So you've still got, you can go all the way with him.
And he's just started on flying changes. He's
Yeah.
good on leg yield, starting on half pass.
So do you have a coach as well?
No. I always thought I wouldn't bother until I got to advance or something with him.
Yeah.
And then,
Because it'd be really, really good to get, it'd be really good to get, you know, wow, flow coach away that, because once you did the level that you're getting to with him, you know, you're going to be coming across people who've never ever come across training a standard bread.
I know.
That,
People don't understand that it is hard.
Yeah.
But he's pretty fine now, even just training like a normal horse.
Yeah.
But I've still got to make certain allowances.
Yeah.
And if he ever gets confused, and that happens with all the green horses, they'll move ahead. Once they get confused, they'll revert back to the pace, and then you've just got to go, oh, well, that didn't work.
Yeah. I used to have him in England. I used to go competing dressage with him, and showed him and endurance all at the same time.
Yeah.
But it was a fabulous horse. But in the end, I remember the moment where he suddenly got his balance, and it was just, and after that, it was just fantastic. Yeah. So before that, he used to pace all the time and everything. And I didn't know what I was doing back then. You know, I've never had one before then, but I've had lots of since then.
No, you've got to take the pace out of them pretty quick.
Yeah.
And when the trot becomes the norm, then you can
Yeah.
actually move ahead.
Yeah.
But yes, I do have big plans for him. I
Good.
just hope I don't get too old. But
Brilliant. And have you been following Andy the Standy and stuff? Have you been following Andy the Standy?
no, I only heard about that recently.
Yeah. Oh, well, all the articles are in Horse and People magazine.
Yes.
Yeah. He's from up here. He's from Rosewood here.
He's
Yeah.
Maxine's horse.
Yeah,
isn't
he is. Yeah. Yeah, belongs to Maxine.
Yeah, I think I heard about it after the last meeting when someone said, oh, you know Andy the Standy, that was Maxine's. I'm going,
Yeah.
who's Andy the Standy?
And he was down at Equitana showing stuff.
I
Yeah.
would like to
Yeah.
go down and seen that.
Yeah, I saw him when I was down there. Yeah, he's lovely. Really nice. Yeah.
Is he going as well as him?
Sorry?
Is Andy the Standy going as well as him?
No, he's a long way from that advanced. Yeah. Oh, he's very green still.
I should
Very
take
green.
this fellow out for more demos. What do you reckon?
Yeah.
No, when he's doing flying changes, I will.
Yeah, you should.
He's
Yeah,
awesome.
when he is and blow him away, do a demo on him at the Dressage Festival. That's what you should be doing. When you get him going really good, say I want to do a demo to show what standardbreds can do.
His canter is to die for.
Yeah.
It's just, so
Yeah.
your whole body just...
I mean, a couple of years, that's what you should be aiming for. And then you can show them. Because they did a demo a few years ago with a Clydie to show what Clydies can do. So there's no reason why you couldn't do something like that with a standardbred. That would be really good.
If I do it, I'll do it on behalf of both groups.
Yeah.
I'm into everyone being a edge.
Yeah, I know.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Lovely to meet you. Hope to see you again sometime.
Oh, that was really, really good.
Good, good.
I loved it. I'm going to be sitting front from here on in. Yay!
It actually looked like he was floating.
Yeah, it was beautiful. Oh, no, you're computing now. So you're still lifting his legs?